travel, for example, with their armies or raiding parties. Well, we get an insight as to how a raiding party or army moved through the countryside and what destruction they might cause from an episode in the 10th century tale called Ca Alwine, the Battle of Alwine, which tells of the northern king, Fergal, son of Maodhóg, marching into Leinster. And here we have a passage which I think just gives you an insight into what used to happen. Thereafter, Fergal comes to invade Leinster, but there were bad guides before them, and we have references from elsewhere, including the law tracts, that armies had guides. They're called Olari, people who brought them through the enemy territory. They were normally allies who were against the dynasty that was being countered. But these were bad guides, and they brought them into all the rugged parts of the province, so they're trying to cause trouble for Fergal's army. This is the way the guides brought him to Clondowell in Ireland, where they pitched a camp at the edge of the church. So again, we do find this quite often, the pitching of an army's encampment near churches, and this occurs fairly frequently in the sagas. They greatly maltreated the church, for at that time there was a certain leper there, and he had a single cow. Then they came to the leper and unroofed his house, and they dealt him a spear thrust which went through his mantle, and they killed his only cow and cooked it afterwards on spits of iron. Now when we come closer to Ferns, the life of St. Maodhóg of Ferns includes an episode which explains somewhat why an ecclesiastical settlement would be the target of angry or ambitious kings. Here it tells, Edel, son of Andra, king of Ireland, assembled a great army to harry and raid Ecclesiastic. Now Bhreathnach, son of Ochis, son of Bhreathnach, was king over Ecclesiastic, and it was he who was opposing Edel, the king of Ireland. And this is the key point. A great number, therefore, of the men of the country collected their flocks and cattle under the protection of God and the safeguard of Maodhóg to the place where he was, that is, Clonmore Dichola, which may be one of the Clonmores, which there are a few of them, but the one southwest of Enniscorthy. When the king heard of the great quantity of property and cattle gathered together in one spot, he went to raid the place. So here we have perhaps an insight into the mechanism of, if it is heard that the king of Ireland is coming your direction, that people and chattels, belongings are all brought together in an area, an ecclesiastical, a church site, which is regarded as perhaps protective in the sense that it may be a sanctuary. But of course, as we know, as we can see from what Diarmuid did with Kileshan and what happened to Ferns, this is not always the case. In this instance, Maodhóg raised his bachel or his crozier, his staff against Edel and his army, and saved Clonmore Dichola from destruction. But, as we see from the genuine sources, for Ferns in 1041, it would appear that Maodhóg's power could not stop Diarmuid mac Maodhóg's enemies from burning the settlement. With the rise of Diarmuid in Leinster through the 1050s and 60s, his influence was such that it extended into Munster. Diarmuid mac Rian's son, Thurlough, became his ally. He took control of the Norse towns of Wexford, Waterford and Dublin, and with that control came a fleet on the Irish Sea, as Ronan mentioned, and meddling in Anglo-Saxon, Manx and Welsh affairs. Can we deduce any impact here at Ferns of such a meteoric rise? Archaeologically, there is little obvious trace. Dr. Ger Dowling, who will follow me, will give you an overview of the likely layout of the ecclesiastical settlement. Although without excavation, it is really difficult to link the evidence to any particular chronological period. One could argue that the decorated cross shaft in the cemetery here in Ferns is neither early, Pache Peter Hartson, who dates to the 9th century, nor 12th century, Pache, the tradition that it marks the grave of Diarmuid mac Murrocha. Some of the closest parallels to the geometric decoration are to be found on 10th, 11th century crosses in Wales. For example, this one here at Penmon in North Wales, or at Llanbadarn Fawr near Aberystwyth. Well, should this surprise us? Probably not.